Well, it's a whole new world. A best of three is what's left in the series. Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by Bet365. We got Big E and Rudo coming to you live on a Sunday. Bit of a weird day for a show, but here we are getting our fifth show of the week in. A lot to talk about, mostly about the Av series. I'm sure we'll touch on some of these other series too. By the way, Connor Hellebuck, yikes. Anyway, I wanted to start you off with a question that, obviously there's 3 games left in the series. A lot still to be decided. But so far, biggest surprise of this series for the Colorado Avalanche, is it Logan O'Connor being tied for your leading scorer? Is it the quality of Gabe Landeskog's play and his return? Or is it something else that has surprised you the most in this series?
Oh, I'll take a microphone. It's easier, usually.
Does help when they can hear you.
I'm just saying. I'm going to leave Gabe aside because it was such an unknown, right? You know what I mean? Like, well, we knew he was going to play him, but,
how the quality.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's a couple games. It's awesome. What a story. It's remarkable. But if we put him aside because it's not fair, because it's too big of a story, right? You know what I mean?
Sure.
That should be the answer, right?
You can be on our mini pod we do in an hour.
Yeah, exactly. But I have to go with Logan. Not that we didn't know how good he is and how productive he can be. When I'm talking about productive, I don't care about goals and assists. He's got his hands or his footprint, everywhere on the score, on the outcome of a game, not necessarily on the score sheet, But I'm very, very impressed by Logan. And then it just makes me realize how much they missed him last year. And it just does. That's why for me it would be Logan. What about you?
I think it's O'Connor so far.
Yeah.
With 3 games left, that could change in a hurry depending on how things play out. But I think that's a fair argument. And a fun little stat that I looked up that don't take this stat seriously. But in every single series that Logan O'Connor has scored in, the Avs have won that series.
That is a pretty telling stat.
He had 1 playoff goal before this year. So,
that's it?
Just the one against St. Louis in 22. That was his only playoff goal.
All right, and they won. So here you go. Well, just shows you what I'm saying, that he leaves a mark on every aspect of a game, and sometimes not just goals and assists.
Exactly.
Obviously.
Right. They're generally speaking, it's not the production that you're getting from Logan O'Connor, which, by the way, another stat. In this 4-game series, Logan O'Connor has equaled his playoff point total from the rest of his career. That's how well he's playing in this series.
And he's flying. And you can tell in his face, he's like confident. He's excited. He's ready for the challenge.
Yep.
So it's it's pretty telling how on fire he is right now. It's fun to watch. And hopefully this keeps going. A few more games. Well, 1 game at a time, but next game, let's go.
I think you kind of said the magic word of what the Avs need to take from Game 4 right there. Words.
Word? What?
I'm going to call you EJ, which is not you.
Close enough.
But,
What'd you ask again? Sorry.
The magic word for the Avs from Game 4, confidence.
Yeah.
I think we saw the Avs struggle with that a little bit, certainly in Game 3 where the puck just didn't seem to go in the net for them. Logan O'Connor has had no shortage of confidence in this series, but the way the Avs played through the majority of Game 4, it felt like everyone's level on the team. They remembered, oh, right, we actually can make good plays. Let's go out there and be the better team.
And I liked their sense of urgency.
Yep.
I really liked it. I love the fact that Logan, Mac, whoever, Gabe, they wanted to make plays. You know what I mean? And they were all over the ice from the get-go, from the drop of the puck. Again, they got themselves into a little bit of penalty trouble, right? They got 2 in the first 10, 12 minutes.
It's hard for me to fault them the way that game was refereed, but yes.
But you know what I mean? Yeah, but they killed it.
Yeah.
But then they executed. They executed on their zone entries. They executed on face-offs. They executed on making plays. They executed on Logan on the breakaway in a short-handed situation. So I like their execution. I like their urgency, the sense of urgency. So I really, really feel good about where they're at and where they brought their game. Of course, Dallas feels a complete opposite because they should,
yeah,
as they should, and they're a good team. Now, do you expect a big bounce back game from the Dallas Stars? Absolutely.
Yep.
Just like you expected a big bounce back. Forget about the overtime, the game 3. The Avalanche, were absolutely lifeless, whatever you want to call that. In the first period, they had 3-4 shots on that. It was nothing. And it was Gabe Landeskog's return, and the guys didn't capitalize, didn't jump on that situation. So it was kind of disappointing. But I think that right now, you got to expect Dallas to really push back and really be flying right off from the drop of the puck. And remember, it's humid there. The ice is going to be bad.
Yep.
Just keep it simple. And that's for both teams. But I'm saying no dipsy doodles, no trying, to be fancy. You can still use your skill, use whatever, but it's hard and it's sometimes got to be dirty because sometimes the ice doesn't help it.
So how do you manage that mindset, I guess? What do you do to set yourself up for that? Because I don't want to take credit away from the Avs. They played unbelievably good in Game 4, but the way Dallas played kind of made their path easy. There wasn't a lot of adversity they had to face in that game and trying to play the game they wanted to. Knowing or expecting Dallas to play a significantly better game in Game 5, what do you need to do to play your game through that?
Well, first of all, you need your game awareness to be spot on. And what do I mean by that is, when you're out there, you hear the coaches all the time, know the situation on the clock, right? So important. I yell at Tiff all the time. No, write it down. No. You know what I mean? Know the game the clock awareness. Know where you are on the ice. Which part of the ice are you on? Are you really putting yourself in a tough spot? No score awareness, right? Yeah. Know what the score is. You're up 2-0. Are you really needing to do anything at the end of a second period when there's 10 seconds left? And maybe just dump it in and go change. It's probably the way to do it. If you don't need to turn the puck over and then the other guys score with 2 seconds to go. You know what I mean? There's no need. So you have to know your awareness on all those situations on the ice. And I think it's very important that beforehand, I used to tell that to kids youth hockey, are you guys ready? And they'd be like, referees stink, say it all together, hey, referees stink. And then you get on the ice, guys, we know they're going to say, it's okay. I'm being sarcastic here, but same thing with the Avalanche.
Yeah.
I think it's important tomorrow night. The ice is going to stink.
It's just a given.
Don't fight it.
Right.
The ice is going to stink.
Yeah.
It's going to be a mud fest. There'll be no room out there. Dallas is going to come out way better than they were. They're going to give you no room. There'll be no room in the neutral. It's going to be mud. Don't be stubborn with your game. Get ugly, but don't be stubborn. Don't give them gifts. And that's why if you tell your mindset beforehand with the awareness of what I was talking about, score, clock, situation on the ice, then you should go out there and you shouldn't expect to make careless mistakes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm in. Come into it the right way and get rewarded for playing it the right way. I do think there is something to that. I don't want to be greedy here because, again, as a team, I really don't know that the F can play any better than they did in Game 4.
Yeah.
But when you look at individual players' production, okay, yes, Logan O'Connor's having an amazing series. Nathan McKinnon is right up there at the top at the same points as Logan O'Connor. Your third and fourth scorers are Jonathan Drouin and Sam Girard with 3 points, which is good. Awesome. But Cale Makar's not on that list. He has only 2 points in this series. You're looking around at some other guys you maybe expect a little more from. Val Nichushkin just has the 1 goal.
Mm-hmm. Marty.
Nate just has a couple of power play points early in the series, and that's it. One, do the Avs have more to give there? Is there more production available in this lineup, or is it just flowing through other avenues? And 2, realistically, how do some of these players improve individually, especially if the Avs continue to play well?
Well, I think as much as it's a negative, you just use the individual production.
I don't know
not a
that's
negative.
necessarily a negative.
But I'm looking at it as a negative because I'm saying not as a negative, as a positive.
There's even more.
There's even more. There's more levels for the Avalanche. I do believe Marty Party is another level. I do believe, especially 5-on-5, right? Val is another level, right? We saw Nelson, right? Because we saw Gabe, I think, infectious, right? Towards with Gabe, towards Nelson. We've talked about the guys at 5-on-5, Druin, he's got a few assists, right? On the power play. Guys like that, if they can step up their game, but no more than Cale Makar. Cale Makar is the one that I expect to pop off. I love this game yesterday. I love this game.
It was much, much better.
You could notice him compared to the other games. He was flying. He was making plays. He actually hit the net. I really like Cale's game. Can he give you more? Yeah, because we're so accustomed to more. We're so accustomed to he's the best player on the planet. So I expect him to have a monster game tomorrow night, 7:30 Dallas time. Cale Makar. I mean, that would be the guy I would be focusing on tomorrow night, Cale Makar. And that's a weapon. And people are saying, oh, Heiskanen, he's going to play. It doesn't matter. Great, awesome. At the end of the day, Cale is going to step up his game tomorrow. And that's why I'm saying it's still a little bit of a positive into a negative when we're saying some guys really haven't hit their strides. Well, that's a positive because the Avalanche were outstanding last night, and there's still guys that have more to give. So that's pretty encouraging. That's pretty awesome.
I think so too. I think it's pretty good. And we've talked about the Av side of it a lot. Mm-hmm. I do think it's important to remember there is another team on the ice. And I don't want to give the Avs too much credit because the Avs are not a perfect hockey team. Things aren't going to go perfectly through the rest of the series either. You're going to have to find a way to make it work regardless. Yeah. But when you look at Dallas's total score sheet, Thomas Harley leads their total scoring with 3 points. It's not like Dallas is getting all-world performances out of their guys. They're doing a decent job of scoring around their roster at times. But realistically, the Avs are limiting what Dallas has been able to produce in this series. Their problem in game 3 at least was inability to produce at the level you would expect from this team. Can the Avs keep up that defensive acumen against this Dallas team? Or is that another adjustment you expect to see in these final 2 or 3 games?
Well, I do believe at some point, Maddie, Mikko, guys like that, they're going to.
It's hard to keep them off the scoreboard.
They're going to have better games than they've had. I mean, again, knock on wood. That'd be awesome if they don't. But you kind of have to expect it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Blackwood is up to the task like he's been. But you're right. There are 2 teams. You're going to have a bigger punch, a bigger push tomorrow from Dallas. But on the other side, the Avalanche have played, and Bednar touched on it yesterday morning before the skate there at his presser. All awesome. The Avalanche have been 5-on-5 defensively.
Yep.
5-man units, the 6 Ds. I think Malinsky's been good, right, since he's been in there.
Yeah.
Again, they're not giving up a lot. Forget about shots, scoring chances. They're not giving up a lot. And McKenzie came up with the big ones. Obviously, all of them yesterday was a shutout. So
easy when you get all of them.
That's wow. That's what a comment that is by me. But you know what I mean? Captain Obvious here, but he's I like the way systematically they've played defensively. Again, my beef has been on the power play, and again, yesterday was 1-on-1. I mean 1-for-1. And it's just like the other 2 times they scored in the series. It's Mac from the top of the circle, whatever you want to call it, right there, and he shoots it. It's not a pass to the bumper. It's not a pass across. It's a shot.
Yeah.
A power play that shoots the puck is a productive one.
Yep.
So,
look, the Avs clearly made an adjustment with that in game 4, and I do want to talk about that a little bit more. But first, we do need to take our first break here, pay a few bills, as we are brought to you today by the Finnish Long Drink. Right there. Picture this, Eric. Summer 1952, Helsinki, Finland.
Was Lecky alive then? No, I'm sorry.
Was his Ismo alive? Maybe.
Probably.
Maybe.
Yeah.
He might have been there for the conception of the long drink. You never know. Look, you're a little bit parched, all right, in the summer up north. That's where long drink comes into play, all right? Long drink, a citrus soda with real liquor. It's super refreshing, also gluten-free and all natural. So it's a great option. Of course, their Finnish roots heavily tied into hockey too. So they know what it's all about. Lecky's had a few of those. Let's not lie.
Well, we gave one yesterday for him to get.
He didn't pick that one up. It's still sitting there for game 5, all right?
If you score, we'll give you one. He didn't score. So. All right.
Look, it's super easy to drink. It's a lot lighter than most beers are. So You can have a few and it doesn't bog you down quite as much. It's a great product. Tastes nothing like you've had. Honestly, their peach one was amazing the other day. It does not taste like liquor at all. So highly recommend you go check that out. They have a bunch of other flavors too if peach isn't your thing. I'm not a big grapefruit guy, but I know a lot of people do like their grapefruit. Like my wife loves grapefruit seltzer water. So you can check out those flavors too. Make sure you're going and picking up your long drinks at your local liquor store. You can go to longdrink.com/where to get it to find long drinks in a store near you. Go check out Long Drink. Once you get your long drink on, we also have another pretty big and little announcement, which if you watch our other shows, you might already know this, but ALLCITY, including us here at DNVR, is teaming up with Big Brothers Big Sisters of America for an exciting 3-year partnership. This isn't just about sports. Turns out there's a lot more to sports in the world, which go figure, you know. It's about community. Together, we're combining Big Brothers Big Sisters' incredible youth mentoring programs with the passion and power of ALLCITY's local sports coverage to create something truly meaningful. The partnership has already kicked off with the NFL draft over the weekend, but it doesn't stop there. We'll be working year-round to support Big Brothers Big Sisters through fundraising, content, events, and even opportunities for our team and maybe some of you to get directly involved. We're excited to support youth mentorship even, that really makes a difference. You can learn more and see how to get involved at bbbs.org/allcity today. Super excited. Always cool to be able to do awesome stuff
For like sure.
that. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. 48 shots on goal in game 4. Is part of that Dallas played poorly, the Avs played well? Yes. But was there a mindset shift? Did the Avs, how could I say this PC? Did the Avs pull their noggins out of their behinds and realize that they needed to simplify their game and shoot the puck?
Yeah, and I think the big difference that we saw right off the bat yesterday was they were getting to the interior, but they were hitting the net. When I say
that's a good point. Right? They missed the net a lot in this
series.
And
then the game before, they were shooting wide, high, get tipped, blocked by the D's shin pads. Yesterday went through. You know what I mean? Yeah. And again, they didn't score every time. Obviously, you know, they forced Ottinger to have a really good game, by the way. Ottinger was great. So, but I think there was a shot first mentality more than the other games. I do believe that that's important. Carolina's a lot like this. In playoffs, it can create chaos. And when you're trying to play dirty, when I say dirty, greasy, just kind of like with the game we're expecting tomorrow night, with bad ice for both teams, get greasy, get dirty, but get pucks on net. Get pucks on net, crash the goal crease, see what's going to happen, make D's turn, make the goalies fight for their rebounds, find the rebounds, whatever it is. Look at the goals that Dallas scored in overtime, right? You know what I mean? So it's like the first one was his own rebound, Blackwell, and then the other one was nice play from Marchment that beats, you know, but he's right there in the front, and you got to get to the front of the net. Sagan's in the front. And
it's not hard to see the mathematics there, right? Bad ice. Who are the guys scoring points? The guys getting to the dirty areas, the guys doing the dirty work, not the high skill stuff, because the high skill stuff's not going to be as effective in a situation like that.
Yeah. And so you got to be able to reinvent yourself a little bit, you know what I mean? And really play to those little things that matter on the ice to make sure you get some success individually, and obviously, which ultimately leads to team success. But yeah, I think that they were shooting the puck a lot more. I think that was more in their heads that they were going to hit the net. It makes a difference.
And then, look, I know Otter played great in that second period the other night, made a bunch of saves, but look at this series and look at the first period. Those aren't the best goals of all time in the first period. Logan O'Connor's a nice finish, but Otter doesn't seem prepared for a high blocker shot from him there. The McKinnon power play goal is, yes, they get Otter moving side to side, but they're pretty leaky.
He gets him.
You got to realize this guy hasn't played the best series, and his save percentage, even with that ridiculous second period the other night, is still only around a 9-10, which isn't bad, but that's a guy who's given up some goals to you.
Yeah, and if we can touch on there, it looked like he just was, the board wanted to just rest him, you know, because his team was kind of listless and lifeless. I mean, and weren't ready. And, you know, he's like, you know what, might as well just why risk anything? Doesn't look like we're coming out of it. Still a strange decision in my book, but whatever. I'm not a coach. I get it.
I don't want to give him credit, but I actually like that decision.
No, I mean, I understand.
I think you looked at the two periods of that game and went, the Dallas Stars are not winning this hockey game.
They weren't. You know what I mean? So it's fine. And then we'll see how he responds, because not that he was bad, but, McKenzie was better than him. So, I mean, that's just
not close.
And again, as a goaltender, you got to challenge yourself. We talked about McKenzie. That's what I said in those keys before the game. Like, McKenzie has to be better than Andre.
Yep.
And there's only one goalie on each side. And forget about the backups. I'm talking about when the game starts. There's one goalie on each side. That's your guy. That's the guy you got to beat. And that's the guy you got to challenge yourself to beat. And sometimes you're not as busy as the other guy or vice versa. But you got to challenge yourself to say, I'm going to be the difference more than that guy's going to be the difference for his own team. So that's where the goalie battles and the goalie games and the mental games, and look at Hellebuck tonight again. I do believe Binnington's in his head, you know what I mean? And Hellebuck gets the yank. What is it, 2 or 3 now? Like, he's gotten the yank, but whatever. 2,
I think.
Regular season's a different animal. It's a different beast. It's not, playoffs are a different beast. Different animal. It's not the regular season. It's totally different. The mindset has to be different. Your thought process has to be different. A lot more is at stake. So some guys can, some guys can't do it. So
let me pick your brain on a theoretical here. And actually, before I get into that, let me just say, does not sound like Ross Colton's particularly close. I think you can assume he's probably not going to be back in this series. If it goes 7, maybe whatever, we'll get there. But
let's just put it this way. I don't think he's got a broken bone. You know what I mean? We're dealing, I think, muscular thing, or, you know what I mean? Like a hamstring or something like that. I'm not trying to, be a doctor. I'm saying, don't quote me on this, but I'm saying, I don't think it's like Manson at the broken wrist, right? You know what I mean? Like, remember, it's like, okay, it is what it is. So I think this is more like, we'll see how he feels, and we'll see if he can get himself back into it, which sounds promising in a sense that doesn't sound like he's out for months. You know what I mean? So you're right. Do I think he's playing next game? No, he hasn't skated. So
right.
I would think latter part of the series maybe, or, knock on wood that you
we're already in the latter part of the series.
No, but I mean, like, is it 7? You know what I mean? Like,
sure, if it goes 7,
like not tomorrow night. I just want people to he didn't skate yesterday. Like, he hasn't skated. There's no way he's playing tomorrow night. So.
Realistically, after a game like that, you're not touching the lineup, though, right?
Oh, I wouldn't touch it. No, exactly.
So,
I mean, you can't play any better.
Yeah, right.
You can't play any better. We said it last night, right? We're like, oh my God, you screwed yourselves. You know what I mean? You did, because it's like, Bednar, Prater, Ray, those guys are like,
just do that again.
Yeah, you got to duplicate that. You know what I mean? So, and again, we all know this. Usually, we're using that line. We'll use it a lot. There's another team out there that's got a lot to say about this. Of course. But last night, they certainly didn't have a lot to say compared to what the Avalanche had to say.
All right. Put your video hat on. Well, you already got it on. You're already wearing it. I got the goat. There you go. You're the goat video guy.
We got to have this one tomorrow night. Yeah. Nobody can take this one for the special teams tomorrow. Right? Special teams hat tomorrow. Yeah.
You now have 4 games in this series of footage that you've turned through, and obviously you have your breakdowns after every game. But as a coaching staff, you're going back to Dallas. You're in a tied 2-2 series. How many adjustments are you really trying to pull at this point? Because you maybe have a little bit more to work with if you do want to change something. Yeah. But how much is too much?
Yeah. I think you got to let your instincts take over a little bit. I do believe that the Avalanche last game, I saw them rim the puck a little bit more. Sure. You know what I mean? Now, was that an adjustment by the coach? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, hey, maybe this will work more than, direct passes maybe or they whatever. Were just
given what was,
or take what's given to you, right? And maybe that's what was given. The ice doesn't allow for that a little bit in Dallas the first 2 games. And again, I know both teams are bad. Like somebody said that. Like, we're not saying it's just, you got to play to what's in front of you.
Right.
I mean,
there's a style of play that functions
and if the ice is crap, what do you, I mean, it's not the guy, it's the weather. You're fighting the weather. I told Tiff, I don't know if I told you, I was talking to Tony here with the Avs, and he's pretty good friends with the guy in Dallas, and he was saying he's fighting the weather. He's fighting the humidity. He's fighting the temperature. Everything is done right. Everything is done to the, what needs to be done. There's only so much you can do. Like
81 today and going to be 81 tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, for example, like I can tell you that the Avs, the air, Tony was telling me yesterday, it comes out of for the AC like at 32 degrees. The game ice level, like game time, it's about 55 degrees. And on a game like last night, it probably reached 67 degrees by the third period because of all the body heat of all the body, 18,000 people in there. And you know what I mean? And that's just what happens.
Yep.
So your rims, whatever, are they there, not there? But the one thing, and you said it the other day because you kept saying it and it just kept going in my head. And it's a 2 out of 3. Forget about 2 games on the road. I don't care right now, home road. 2 games out of 3. I'm going to sneeze. I don't want to sneeze. Pickle. Is that what you're saying? Pickle?
Yeah. You
got to say pickle? Oh my God, it works. Just like the mountains turn. I mean, whatever. I learn something new every day. But what I was saying is for the Avalanche and the Dallas Stars, this game is going to be won between the blue lines. I'm convinced right now with this 2 out of 3, the games are going to be won or lost in a neutral zone. And Dallas lost the game in a neutral. I think the dagger goal yesterday is the Gabe Landeskog goal. And look at Brock, Lieutenant Brock Nelson. What did you call him yesterday? Brock C. Nelson, Commander, whatever. He was flying.
Yep.
Like he had the turbojets on between the two blue lines. And look at the the turnover, for example, on the first overtime game. And, so I do believe the game for both teams is going to be lost between the blue lines. And that's the neutral zone. The Avalanche dominated the neutral zone. Somebody in chat yesterday, I forget who talked about it, but you had brought it up and you were right. I do believe the neutral zone is going to be key. And I think that the Avalanche know that. And I think they have enough now as a video coach, like you said, examples of what works and what doesn't work.
I think another important thing to note, and this is true of bad ice, but also true of the Colorado Avalanche. It feels like review after review I did this year when you're looking at games, when the Avs are playing their systems to their best, yes, they have great defensemen that can break the puck out with their vision, with their passing. When the Avs are playing their best hockey, they are getting out of their own zone with their feet. They use their feet to get into and through the neutral zones, and they play from there. And the reality is, most teams in the NHL just cannot keep up with the Colorado Avalanche when they use their feet like that.
And the best example of what you're talking about right there, and he's made a career here because of his style of play, Sam Girard.
Yep.
Right? Mm-hmm. It's exactly what you're talking about, correct? Forget about Kale. Well, he's the best in the world at retrieving a puck.
If everyone could do that, it'd be a different game.
It's not fair. Like Nick Lidstrom, Red Wings back then. God, I don't want to hear people like, oh, God, hit him. You can't. You can't get there. They don't leave themselves open. Devon Tays has been masterful about it, but Sam is perfect. But look no further than, to your point right here, Josh Manson.
Yeah, his feet have been fantastic in this series.
It's unbelievable.
Yes. Yeah.
And then, Malinsky's been one of those guys. And again, EJ he's getting older, the old geezer, the big fella. I love him. But he moves his feet, right? Yep. EJ moves his feet. So, and then who am I missing right now? And then, 55, Charlie Lindgren.
Yeah.
I know his name. It's not Charlie. It's his brother. I know. It's our thing here. So Lindgren, he does move his feet. We all know puck skills are not, but again, him, it's his positional play.
Yep.
His warrior battle mentality, but he does move his feet and gets out of the zone. So you're bang on with those comments right there. I love it. Rudo is the man right now.
I'm not the man here. He does all the hard work. I just bring up topics and he tells me what the truth is.
Tiff does the hard work. I do nothing. I just bring lawn drinks to Lecky right there.
All right. Let's pay some bills even here. Well, you can't play some bills with Bet365. Go get with them. Make sure you sign up with code DNVR365 on the Bet365 app. When you sign up with that code and you put in $10, bet $5 on anything, you get $150 in bonus bets to play with. You can have a little bit of fun. You can hit shutouts randomly in the playoffs like E does and be up big. always an option.
$5 gave you $50 or
Nice.
something.
Nice deal there. Do it with Bet365. Doesn't have to be the Avs. You can bet on Nuggets, buzzer beaters. You can bet on the Rockies or against the Rockies, really. You can bet on any other sport under the sun.
I saw your voice go down.
Yeah. I mean, the Rockies are what, like 4-19 or something ridiculous. They're bad. Look, it's have a fun time. You know, you can enjoy sports a little bit with a couple of bets out there. Do it with the DNVR 365 code at Bet365. Of course, if you do have anyone you know or yourself that has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. And of course, you must be located in Colorado when you do play with Bet365. Once you've had some fun, maybe won a little bit of money with Bet365, make sure you're checking out the official vehicle of us here at DNVR and the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche, a Toyota. You're going to need some skates like a Toyota in those Dallas mucky ice. 17 different all-wheel drive vehicles for Toyota. They'll get you to where you need to go, a lot like the mayor, Logan O'Connor. Will get you where you need to go. 16 different hybrids, too. If you got that Avalanche engine running, you got to be gas efficient. They have a vehicle for everyone, whether it's trucks, SUVs, sedans, you name it. Toyota has you covered. So go visit your Front Range Toyota stores, including AutoNation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corin Toyota, Boulder, Groove Toyota, Littleton, Mountain States Toyota, Denver, Stevenson Toyota, Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota, West End, Lakewood. Again, Toyota is the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche and us here at DNVR. Toyota, let's go places. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast, and I want to shift gears a little bit here, E. With the Winnipeg loss this afternoon before our show, we now have only one series that's played 4 games that has gone 3-1.
Toronto.
Yeah. The Avs are 2-2. You have whoever just went 2-2 the other night as well. Minnesota, Vegas. There was one other one, I think, too, but I might be
Montreal
wrong.
2-1 tonight. You know.
Yeah. Carolina and New Jersey are playing right now.
2-1.
My point is, the playoffs are hard. Sweeps aren't supposed to happen. You're supposed to have to grind it out. You're supposed to have to face a little bit of adversity.
Yeah.
The Avs have done that. It's about taking the next step now. Do you think the Avs can do it? Because I'm not trying to be a doomer here, but with this core of the Colorado Avalanche, we have seen a 2-2 series a handful of times. They've never won a series with this core from a 2-2 series.
Really?
Yep.
I'm shocked.
The Sharks, back in the early days of this core, they also lost the Vegas series, which eventually got to 2-2 after the Avs went up 2-0. They lost that one 4 straight. And then I believe the Dallas series in the bubble also went 2-2, but let me confirm that for you.
I'm shocked. It's funny you're saying that because I would have never thought that. But what I'll say about the NHL schedule is such a grueling schedule. I'm not here to compare sports. I'm not. I hate when people say, like,
the bubble was 3-1. So
3-1, okay.
It's only 2 series that went 2-2 for this core.
For this core, yeah. Here's what I'll say. Like, I hate comparing sports like football. I can't compare like 82 games to what's football? 17?
17 now, yeah.
And I'm not saying 17 is easy. Hey, listen, those guys they're nuts, man. Like they don't have padding on their arms or their freaking thing. Like, I think those guys are absolute lunatics. You know what I mean? So I'm not saying it's a soft sport. Basketball, is very comparable in the amounts of games. It's just but they're on the court for 40, whatever it is. Guys play so many minutes compared to hockey. Yeah. So it's hard to compare sports. My point is that it's such a grueling year with the travel, with the training camp, with the lengthy season, and it's hard to get to the playoffs. And then you get to the playoffs, and it's an absolute monster, mammoth of a 2-month period. So it's hard, and it's not supposed to be easy because no one's going to give you a free ride. You know what I mean? Maybe once every couple of years you have a free, I don't know, Washington Capitals last year. They limped in and we're like, oh my God, you know what I mean?
Whatever.
It's whatever, so
that was not a real playoff.
It wasn't
team,
yeah, exactly. And again, what a marvelous comeback this year.
Totally.
It was not a dagger the Washington Capitals last year, but it's tough. No one's going to lay down and die. I was watching, like I said to you yesterday, was it Carolina Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? I mean, it's all blending in, but it had to be 2 days ago.
There's been a lot of hockey the last week.
But I'm saying they were down, right? Jersey's down 2-0. They don't have Jack
They scored
Hughes,
twice.
And they're in second overtime. And they're absolutely pressing the game because they can't go down 3-0.
Yep.
It's 3-0. I understand they can be comebacks. I know that, but the odds are not very good. That you're making a comeback.
It's happened, but not very many times.
Not a lot.
Yeah.
So you could tell in their play, if you've never watched hockey, you're like, who's down in the series? And you're like, oh my God. Yeah. Oh yeah. That team, New Jersey's down. And then they end up scoring, which is awesome. And it gets you back in the series, gets you into the series because you really haven't been in the series. So yeah, it's a dogfight out there. Again, Dallas Stars are going to respond tomorrow. Like dogs. I don't expect them to lay down and say, sure, Avalanche, we feel so good. You guys have Gabriel Landeskog back. What a great story. We're going to let you in. It doesn't exist, right? So expect it to be hard tomorrow. Expect it to be some punches and back and forth. And, there was not a lot of back and forth yesterday, right? It was the Avalanche that was just kind of eating like a hungry hippo. They were grabbing all the, But tomorrow, expect the Dallas Stars to grab a few of those in the hungry hippo battle.
They're going to be coming. The same way game 2 that they felt desperate. That they want this just as much as the Avs do mentally, but it's who goes out there and does it on the ice better. To be clear, the Avs should not be thinking about anything beyond Monday. Yep. Tuesday does not exist. You have a game 5 on Monday that you need to go out and win.
That's right.
But because I'm a dork sitting in an office chair instead of actually playing for the Colorado Avalanche, let's talk a little bit beyond here. And I'm not saying that the Avs are guaranteed to move on. They have to take care of this next game, this series first. But what we've seen from the rest of the West in these playoffs gives me a lot of confidence that if the Avs can get through Dallas, they have a pretty good path here. You're watching this Winnipeg Blues series where Winnipeg, to me, honestly, has not been particularly impressive at all in this series. And the Blues are taking advantage of a struggling Connor Hellebuck in the playoffs that the way Mackenzie Blackwood is playing, you have faith the Blues wouldn't be able to produce that way against Colorado. You like how a lot of these matchups are shaking up. This Vegas series has been really interesting. Minnesota is really giving them a run for money in a way that I maybe didn't fully expect. Kaprizov has been downright unbelievable for that team. So the other side of the bracket is going through some war of series as well. I know you don't want to get ahead of yourself, but...
No, but I'm going to bring something else because you and me have been talking about it for a few weeks now, and it's the switch. You know what I mean? Minnesota's had to be... finger on it. They were missing Kaprizov, Eriksson. Like they have been trying to fight for their lives for 8 weeks, whatever it is. St. Louis, they were out of it, out of it. So they've been fighting for their lives. So the switch has been on. The switch has been on for teams like that. Now Vegas was kind of like the Avalanche, oh, okay, well, here we are. You know what I mean? Like we kind of have this, and this is kind of who we're going to be playing, and so the switch is not on. And the same thing with the Winnipeg Jets. You're going to say, well, they wanted to win and, finish first overall. And yeah, of course, but at the end of the day, you're still not playing to the top of your intensity level that you're supposed to play.
Sure.
So I think that there's a little bit of there where we were talking about the switch. And so I think that's an advantage to the underdogs a little bit, because of the way the regular season shapes up and how the playoffs matchups work. It's a little different. And I think right now the advantage has been to the teams that have been with the switch on. So, but again, you're right. The Avalanche, they can't look any further than tomorrow.
Yep.
They got to take care of business tomorrow. And even if they take care of business tomorrow, you got to be able to wipe it off and come back and do it again.
We get to sit in this studio. We get the privilege of looking ahead. The Colorado Avalanche can't be doing that.
They know. And it's the same thing with the Dallas Stars. If you're the Dallas Stars and you're flying home, I'm assuming they slept here last night. I'm assuming, because that's the new thing in the NHL. They wait. It's a smart thing instead of getting home at 4 a.m.
I don't know. You might want to get out of the altitude if you're Dallas. But.
Well, yeah, maybe yesterday it looked like the altitude got to them a little bit. But my point is you have to forget about. goldfish memory. You have to forget about the game. You have to talk about it, and you have to see and take out whatever you don't want, which is a lot for Dallas, and then start again. Same with the Avalanche. It can be too high, it can be too low, even keel. And you hear coaches say that, but I'm telling you right now, that's where leadership group makes a big difference. That's why some teams, some core groups know how to win. Some guys don't know how to win. We all know the Avalanche know how to win. That's why I was saying I was surprised a little bit what you said about the 2-2. I'm surprised. But they know how to win because they've been there. So I'm not worried about them. But I'm not worried about Dallas either because they seem to be, they're playing the game the right way as well. Like, I don't like this Bichsel guy. I don't like Marchment, but I like them, because they're doing their job. But they're bugging me.
Here's what I like about those two guys.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say we disagree, but I think we look at the version of responding to those two guys a little bit differently.
Yeah, yeah.
The Avs responded to those two guys in the way I like in
100%.
Game 4.
Yeah.
Marchment takes a penalty on Cale Makar, you score on the power play.
Love it.
Bichsel's bothering all your guys. Landy beast modes him in front of the net. You score directly on him and on.
And then where we don't disagree. Remember that one time we were talking about it, it's like, but if you're not scoring or if you're not,
right, then I'm saying like
something
else.
You
Absolutely.
have to have a little bit of a response. Like, and I'm not, it's not about fighting, guys. I keep saying that for over almost 2 years now. It's not violence, it's not fighting. It's just a little pushback. You know what I mean? And I don't know, look at the Florida Panthers yesterday. I'm not telling you Matthew, that's not what I'm saying. But you saw Bennett, Matthews, Marchand at the end of the game. And who are they yelling at? Are they yelling at a Hagel? No, they're not. They're yelling at Kucherov.
Yeah.
Because their Kucherov is Barkov, right? And it's like, we're going to get you. You know what I mean? And again, no one's going to, you're not supposed to do anything illegal. I'm saying those are the mind games, And Marchment yesterday, somebody in chat talked about like when he gets Cale there. I mean, does it look like he's trying to do something in an obvious manner? Like, no, it doesn't. But he knows what he's doing.
That's the classic accidental
That's
on purpose.
my point. Yeah. Ben's really good at it. That's why I take him on my team. Marchment's really good at it. That's why I make him like, this Bichsel is really annoying me, but I take him on my team. I'm just saying, I'm giving them praises. I'm not, but they're the Claude Lemieux. They're the, like annoying guys that you don't like to play against, but you certainly would take them on your team. You know what I mean? So,
oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, do I like it when Cale's the one that's down? And no, I don't like that because he's the best player on the planet, So it makes me worried, like, it's like, I don't like that. But I love the playoffs. It's so fun. We were so down after that other game. And then last night, you're so high, right? You know what I mean?
It's been a roller coaster.
It's not, it's a drug. It's whatever you want to call that. Like the adrenaline is like, it's a roller coaster. And that's why sports are fun. That's why hockey's fun. That's why playoffs are fun because the stakes are so much higher. And you're seeing people, Logan O'Connor, that are able to raise their game and their intensity and their heart rates up and their gear up. Yep. And some guys can't. Yep. And again, I was going to say, do we know how Jeff Skinner's doing? I mean, that's a remarkable over 1,000 games in the NHL without playing one playoff game.
Play one and you catch a scratch.
Did he get scratched?
Yeah, he played 2, I think. He was scratched for game 3.
Really? Because I wasn't, honestly, I didn't pay attention to him. I'm saying like, can you believe waiting that long to play a playoff game and then you're a scratch? Like, come on, man.
It was Ron Hainsey before him, I think. That was the guy
that was
had like 1,000 games before he played one in the playoffs.
And like Eichel, remember? I was like, Eichel played forever. I mean, not forever, but multiple years. And then he was awesome. And it's arguably Conn Smythe, right? You know what I mean? Like, could have easily won the Conn Smythe for Vegas Golden Knights. So you never know how people are going to react. You never know how, Binnington elevates his game in the playoffs. Sometimes you got to live with them in the regular season, but they elevate their games in the playoffs, and it's fun to watch.
P.S. Go get a bunch of our new shirts that dropped for the playoffs here, particularly the comeback for Landy.
That's a sick shirt too.
They're all so good, dude.
Oh my God! Look, the captaincy is like this. The letter of comeback. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You really caught on quick with that.
Like, when I say the mountains turn blue, like this one I saw right away.
All available at the ALLCITY Network store. Go get them. They're sick. There are also some of our other ones in there. I don't know. I'm not sure if there's any 8-bit Max left, but There are a couple
I
other
had
ones
that
in
one
there.
yesterday.
The link
brought one in
is
the bag. I
tagged in the
forgot to put it on.
comments.
There you go. Tiff has the link, so make sure you're jumping in.
There's so many.
Getting the shirts.
I like the man rocket.
Yeah, that one needs to make a comeback too.
Yeah.
I want to shift gears a little bit because we're hockey degenerates and sit around and watch hockey all day, every day. Has this playoffs been really good? I feel like there's years where the first round is a lot of like blowouts and series that you're like, well, I pretty much know what's going to happen here. This year, it's felt like a pretty darn good 8 series. Maybe not the Leafs Ottawa series, but everything else has felt pretty good.
But even the Leafs Ottawa,
It's overtime
like,
games and
overtime,
stuff,
like a building was rocking. Again, I've been in Ottawa. I know I played in one of those Battle of Ontario playoff series. The building in Ottawa, I'm glad people are getting to see it around the National Hockey League, newer fans, whatever. Because what is it, 8 years now? The Sens haven't been in the playoffs.
Something like that.
That building gets loud. Brady Tkachuk talked about it. It gets loud. It's a fun building. Forget that it's very far on the side of the highway, outside of downtown. But that's besides the point. Inside the building, it gets really rocking. Those games have been tight. I mean, they've been crazy. All the games have been like fun to watch.
Yep.
Montreal, it's electric. It's going to be electric again tonight. Yeah, I mean, Montreal, did you see that brawl in the bench there? How crazy is that? The poor linesman sandwiched in there. He's the cheese and he's getting in the meat. You know what I mean? Like, what's his name? Like Wilson's like the sausage, and what's his name? Anderson is like the salami, and poor guy's in the middle, like he friggin'.
Dude, I'm surprised no one has tweeted the Tom Wilson crying gif at me yet.
Oh my God, it was unbelievable. It's funny how he responded. He's like, well, I was talking to one guy. He knows who the guy is. Well, no, it's Slavkovsky, but but that was hilarious. I mean, I thought that was funny. And that's why each series, now you got the two coaches in the Florida battle there that are going at each other.
Yeah.
And, well,
the typical
my guy
Cooper
hits the guy when the guy
management.
has the pocket. And of course, the next game is this very similar play. Different. We're not going to get into it right now. I agree with the call. That shouldn't be a suspension. There's a difference. The other one had the puck. This one had no puck. I mean,
one's predatory and one is...
Well, no, but one is like he makes his plays look. I mean, Gensel should have known. He's looking because he's getting the cookie on the empty net helper. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and then really, you don't think Matthew's going to hit you? Like, come on. Like, you got to be ready. I'm not. Okay? That's why you didn't get a suspension. So, but besides the point, now you got the two coaches going at it. So every series, that's a little bit of stuff. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised now if you're starting to see some stuff between the Avs and it's been pretty quiet, right? I mean, besides like in the media, we haven't seen.
Yeah, in the media, I think
it's been the
much.
Landy story, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's what it's been. Even the stars talking about it, meaning like hey, it's great. I mean, because it's beyond the game. You know what I mean? It's but there hasn't really been any bad blood yet that I've seen. I'm talking about comments wise,
Yeah.
Usually by game 4, you've seen something. We'll see. Maybe the mind games will start tomorrow morning a little bit. Maybe it starts with Heiskanen and, whatever. I don't know. Saying that, hey, whatever. Well, our guy's coming. And I don't know.
I don't know that the Avs Dallas series necessarily needs it.
Especially great hockey.
You've seen some of the chippiness post whistle kind of ramp up in game 4 and stuff like that. So.
But it's been unbelievable hockey. Wow.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. Yeah.
Great hockey.
I've loved the playoffs so far for guys who want the 1 to 8 seed system or 1 to 16 seed system even. It's round 1 has been good this year, I must admit. All right. What is this guessing game Tiff has played with you guys in the chat now? Oh, you didn't? No. Okay. All right. Chat. Can you guess the Colorado Avalanche goalies that have gotten a shutout in the playoffs?
Say it again.
Colorado Avalanche goalies that have got at least one shutout in the playoffs. There are 7. 2 of them should be absolutely free, for the record.
Well, I mean, Patty Watt's got like, I don't know, a gazillion.
He has 18.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I'm saying. That's crazy.
That's for the ad. That doesn't even count
Montreal.
Montreal.
It's not Montreal.
Yeah.
It's the Avs. How crazy is that? That guy was sick, by the way. Just so you know. That goalie was sick. You talking about a playoff performer? Was he the best goalie ever? No, I'm being honest, no. But when it comes down to elevating, you're no better than him. He was amazing. Okay, So what is it, 18? Wow, that's crazy.
The next guy on the list has 2. So,
but we got to go to Grubauer, right? Because we know that he did, right? Those are the weird bubbles. And
yep, he got 2.
Is that 2? Yeah. The one I'm not sure about is Andy, that crazy game against San Jose. So I don't remember. He made like 177 saves that one night. But did they score one? I don't remember.
I don't know if it was that game, but Andy does have one.
So it's got to be that game.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so.
One?
Yeah.
It's got to be that one because he only played that one playoff series.
Yeah.
And it was San Jose in 6. So, I mean, yeah.
There's only 2 games it could have been.
Games.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Okay. Varley in there?
He is not.
Really? Why? Nordiques too or no?
There is one Nordique on the list.
Well, Dan Bouchard for
Correct.
sure. Yeah. I'm old, guys. Remember that?
That was the 8th guy.
Yeah. So Dan Bouchard. I was going to say Mario Gosselin too, but I guess not.
Yep.
Frankie, maybe?
Yep. Frankie has 2, actually.
Oh, wow. 2?
Yeah. At game 1 against Edmonton, I think. I don't know what the other one is.
Really?
Yeah.
Was there a shared one? Like maybe.
Maybe.
The stick in the eye. Was that a shared one, that one? Like, did he come out and. I don't know.
I don't know that was a shutout.
Sometimes it could be a shared. Well, if it's a shared one, then Kemper will be on the list.
He is, so.
Oh, there you go. So maybe. Somebody check that out. Who else are we missing?
I think you got. Oh, no, you're missing one.
Abby there?
Yep.
He got one too?
Yep. He has exactly
David
one.
Le Suisse. Abicher. David Abicher. Switzerland. Switzerland.
I'm seeing 1920 and then 21-22. So we got one the year before.
Yeah, I thought so.
Who?
Thought
Kemper?
there was only one in the cup run.
Frankie?
No,
Okay,
yeah.
so one. All right.
So,
Good job, guys.
And then Black Wall.
yeah.
The new shirt.
That
Black
one, if you missed that one, you're in trouble, given that it happened 12 hours ago.
Yeah. David Abicher.
Is he from French Switzerland?
Switzerland. He speaks 4 languages. He speaks French,
German,
German,
English.
English.
What's the other one? I don't know.
God, Abby spoke a lot of languages. Yes.
Swiss,
yes.
I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Good goalie. Abby was a good goalie.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, again, I don't think he was a starter in this league, but
he was
as a
that.
backup, he was perfect.
He was the Pavel Francouz of
Yeah.
2001. Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. Then, you know, again, it's not fair. Patty retires. I mean, you know, it's hard.
Yeah,
It's
of
like
course.
John Elway when he retired.
Right.
Like
You're
whoever
never going to
took
live
over,
up to
right?
that.
I mean,
There you
it's
go.
just hard.
There's the actual list for
Yeah,
you.
there you go. Dan Bouchard. That was Patrick Roy's idol growing up, Dan Bouchard.
Well.
Yep.
And then he played for Montreal.
Yeah, but Patty's from Quebec City.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. He was a Quebec fan.
He went back. He was
Italian, yeah.
Oh,
Abby's
Italian.
probably Italian, yeah.
You're right. There's that
But he's,
Italian part, yeah.
I think like first language, I think in the house was French, Abby.
I think that's most of Switzerland.
I don't know.
Because like the German part is like up north, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. We're not geography people.
No, I'm not. Yeah. Okay. So Kemper 7-0. Gotcha. So it wasn't a shared one.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Maybe a shared win that night. I don't remember.
Because
he leaves the stick in the eye. He does leave the
I was
game,
pretty
right?
sure it wasn't a shutout, but he left the game.
He left the game. Yeah. So maybe a shared win.
Yeah.
maybe
I mean,
they
it must.
shared lots.
They swept that series, so it has to be. Yeah.
Well, you can't share it. Actually, you can't share a win.
Right.
You can't share a loss.
It-
I'm not sure what I'm talking about.
Just
here.
ended
It's
up being
shot.
Kemper's
I saw it.
win.
Yeah.
But Francouz did all the work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or I think the Avs were.
Shared
I don't know.
win. What am
I'm
I
not going to
talking
pretend
about?
like I remember that.
I need a
final
long
detail.
drink right now, man. I'm
this
talking about
moment.
shared drinks. The only thing you can share is a shutout.
We do have one super chat to get to here. $5 from Augustus Gloop, who says the Avs power play original sin has always been spending too much time looking for the perfect shot rather than creating the chaos for the puck to get through. At times, it's not even creating the chaos, right? It's just if you shoot the puck, it might go in. It probably won't, but if you don't shoot the puck, it definitely won't.
And I can tell you guys honestly, and that's I even after I retired, and so we're talking about the tail end of Avalanche 1.0. Like I'm working in the front office, and same issue, you know.
Yeah.
Forsberg, Sakic, Blake, Hayduk, a Drury, a Tanguay,
Yeah.
and you're talking about you're like, And when it goes dry, you're shaking your head. You're like, are you serious? Like, what are these guys doing? Because now they're trying to be perfectionists, right? You know what I mean? And then they only one puck, right? And then everybody and they want the puck, those guys, you know? And then it just tends to be like looking for the perfect play instead of just simple. And what I say all the time, bring it up and shoot. Wow, you should be a coach, you know? No, I know. I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying. But those guys are more complex than that.
When you've got guys like Cale Makar and Devon Taves and Sam Girard up there, bring it up and shoot's a lot easier for them than some other teams.
Cale Makar at the top there, shoot the puck.
Yeah.
But I get it. You got the dog on the left side, ruff, ruff, barking, and you got the other guy. I wanted to, you know what I mean? Everybody wants the puck. I get it.
If you've got the dog, we need to tell the dog, no take, only shoot. All right?
Yeah, dog, just shoot the puck. Stop with this.
It worked.
Bumper.
It worked last night.
The bumper?
No,
the shot.
The shot.
No, the bumper no work.
Bumper, not so good.
They worked with Ivan last in November. I'm making fun of the leading scorer of the NHL. It's with love. It's
technically not the leading scorer of the NHL.
Sorry. Well,
second leading.
Fair. He didn't play the last few games. You know what I mean? I'm not telling. He'd be looking at me like, what? I played on the power play a little bit, and I was told, and this is quote unquote Mark Crawford, get in front of the net front. If you touch the puck, you are not going back on the ice the rest of the game. So there you go.
For the Avs to win this series, they need to slay a demon. Yes, they need to beat Dallas, but they either need to do it at home or they need to win a game 7. Another thing that this core has neither of those things has
I
this
thought
core
this was
ever
the
done.
Pete DeBoer demon too.
Yeah.
That too. That too.
This is like literally a hydra.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think the players think about that much.
I think it's from year to year. You kind of forget. But again, a lot of people were there last year, for example.
Sure.
Baby steps. 4 in a row at Ball Arena against the Dallas Stars that you lose.
Yeah.
Like, honestly.
You won game 4.
I don't care what. So Ottinger, he's got to be. It's always been Ottinger. So it's like, oh, I like that building. I feel good. And then yesterday he got smacked in the face.
Yeah.
Not that he played bad.
No.
But he gets pulled, and it's like, you know, it's not going their way. You know what I mean? And so that was a baby step for the Avs to go forwards to slaying those demons, you know what I mean, that you've been talking about. So, yeah, why not? We'll go from there. And DeBoer and winning at home and whatever, the series.
You got to slay some demons to go somewhere.
Seeing some handshakes at home?
Yeah, it's been a long time since the Avs have seen
a handshake.
at least some happy handshakes.
Yeah.
They've seen some sad ones.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, sorry.
Look, does that play on the coach's mind a little bit, you think? The coaching staff? Does it maybe cross their minds a little more than the players?
Yeah. I think those guys are so focused on short term, you know
Sure.
what I mean? I think they just like want to go one period at a time, and that's their goal, and break it down. And every game takes a life of itself. Every series takes a life of itself. It's hard to duplicate things, and characters are different, right? Because it's trades and, you know, players and situations are different. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, it should be interesting. I'm excited. It's certainly living up. What is it? Pierre LeBrun that's here, right? On the national side of things. I'm talking about written piece, you know. He's like, man, what a series, right? Because it's from the outside looking in, like, you know, we're more stressed because we see abs, and it's the same thing for probably DLS and when they're talking about Dallas. But on an outsider coming in, covering on the national side of things, it's like, this is incredible hockey.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, this is incredible hockey.
Like, I don't know that game 3 was incredible hockey, but game 2, great game, amazing game.
No, but it's
lost
bad,
but
it's overtime, and you know what I mean. Like, you know what I mean. Like, it's exciting, and it's it's gone, and there's some good players, and then the Landeskog storyline, it's pretty amazing. You know what I mean? Like, it's I think it's fun to cover this series if you're a member of national media, because
for sure.
You know, you're like, all right, we picked a good one. I was assigned a good one. You know what I mean? We're lucky because we see Cale Makar every day.
You got the fun.
McKinnon every day. You know,
you got the fun one.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh wow, this team's pretty enjoyable. You know, it's pretty fun.
It is what it is with the playoffs. Obviously, the only thing you can do is go out and win the next one, like we've talked about, and that's the mission for the Colorado Avalanche tomorrow. We are wrapping up today's show. We appreciate all y'all hanging out with us. You know, we'll be back tomorrow pregame watch along post game as always. So come join for that. We appreciate y'all. And this has been the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by our friends over at Bet365.
We all silly like the mayor.